What's up, everybody? It's been a while since I've made a video, gave an update. It's been a minute. I've been hiding out in my little hole, hiding out in myself. I mentioned in one of those previous videos that I was in one of my slumps. And sometimes I'll shut down for a while. It's been a while since I've been down like this, but finally starting to see my way out, and I'm back. So, what's the deal? So we talked about last video, moving to another place. People have been asking where we've been thinking about. We've narrowed some things down, changed some plans, changed some ideas, changed our mind 10 times. Narrowed it down to Mendoza, Argentina. And I know a lot of folks say, oh, they racist over there. I get it. So say the comments. Paraguay, of course, was another list on our list. Another spot, we were looking at one of the coastal towns in Brazil, as well as Miraflores in Peru. So, even considered Cape Town, South Africa. But in the last week, we talked, and we've decided that we're gonna sit tight here in Merida. We came down here with a goal, with a purpose. That goal has not been fulfilled. That purpose has not been fulfilled. And so hopping up, leaving, going somewhere else, it doesn't make sense. So yeah, it looks like we're gonna be here. And trust me, I tried to come up with 30 million reasons and 30 million ways to go ahead and make this transition elsewhere, but we gotta stick to the plan. If the number one reason, the number one goal for us is to have a place that's paid off. And so we have no mortgage, no rent, a place that's paid off. And once we do that, it makes it easier to travel abroad and stay gone for as long as we like. If we want to be gone somewhere for 6 months, we can, because we'll have a home. There's no payments on it. You know, when you don't have a rent or mortgage or anything like that, you're free. So we got to get that done. 52 years old now. Our window is small to get this right. As we started crunching numbers, we could have bought a house. In the time that we've been here, we could have bought a house. We had a budget. We've been spending over our budget in terms of cost for the houses that we've been renting. Didn't need to spend as much money as we have. Could have found places for half the price and been saving that money, but we didn't. Like many people who come here, and like a lot of the stuff that I've shared with you, it's easy to get here, and even though things are cheaper, just because it's cheaper doesn't mean you're gonna stay under budget. You often find yourself spending more because it's cheaper. And when you do the math at the end of the month, you're like, oh my God, I've overspent. And so we had enough money to buy 2 houses, but we didn't prioritize it. And then when we started to buckle down and get a little bit more serious about buying a house, we were looking at buying big giant lots, like a compound, and putting a big giant house on it, and all this land and farm animals and stuff like that. We just needed to get a house, get rid of the rent, get rid of the mortgage, have a house first. And then later on, if we wanted those other things, now that you're not paying out any monthly expenses, excessive monthly expenses, you can save and buy larger. But we needed to buy the first thing first. So we, instead of getting the simple thing, we wanted the big thing, the grander thing first. So we're going back to the drawing board. And we're going to focus on getting a house. Kids have already, the younger two, Charlie and Haley, looking at trying to get their own place by the end of the year. We sat down and talked about this last night. They look to get their own place by the end of the year. They're going to share. Charlie be 18 in September. Hard to believe, right? They going to get their own place, which means we don't need this big old house. So we going to downsize into something real small and cheap, so we can buckle down. We're not going to be looking, and when it's time to buy, we're not going to be looking at trying to buy some big old fancy thing, trying to get a house, $60,000. They believe it or not, they have homes out here that you can buy for $60,000. Now, it's not grand, and it's not big, and it's not posh, not fancy. It's not like this. You ain't gonna have a big old pool and a big old yard like this or anything like that. But we just need a place. We need a roof that has no bills. It's just gonna be me and her. You know what I'm saying? So, and once we get that foundation covered, then we could travel. So that's where we at. I'm sorry that I got y'all excited and about leaving, or angry about leaving, and only to be staying. You know, this was a hard decision to make, but in the end, it's the wisest decision. We got to get this right. We ain't getting no younger. We're getting older, and we got to get it right. And once we get it right, it opens up a whole lot of opportunities. Imagine if we've already had a house 2 years ago and they had no rent and mortgages that we had to pay, all the excess money that would be available at our disposal each month. And, you know, during the hottest times of the year, if we wanted to leave Merida for 6 months, we could, because you don't have no rent, no mortgage. So we're going back to the drawing board. We've done a better job saving in the last 5 years than we've ever have. Truth be told, while we saved a lot, we still have some bad habits. You know, bad habits die hard sometimes. We like to go out to eat all the time. We like going out doing things, and of course that costs money. And again, a lot of that we could have still gone out to eat. We probably just needed to cut it down by half, 50%. And that still would have allowed us to save even more, invest more, closer at having more money to buy a house. But we ain't do right. We did better, but honestly, doing a whole lot better is not enough if it's not solidly consistent. And so while we've done a lot better, we could have done even more better. made more sacrifices, been more disciplined, and sticking to the plan. So that's one of the reasons why I was like, you know what, bouncing around somewhere else, spending more money, selling all this stuff, and then buying it again, it just doesn't make sense. We got a car I done bought. I done bought a generator. I done bought office equipment and office furniture, furniture for the house, air conditioning units, washing machines and dryers, beds, bedroom sets, dinette sets, desks, computers. It doesn't make sense to be selling that stuff only to go buy it again. Just at what point do you stop? And the thought process was, if we move somewhere else, 3 years later, we'll be ready to go somewhere else and then do the same, and the cycle never ends. So at some point, we just gotta sit still, get the thing done, and do the thing already, and we'll be free. We'll have the freedom. Sacrifice for 12, 18 months, and after that, you'll be free. So that's what we're doing. Going back to, make sure my microphone don't get wet. Going back to the drawing board. I'm still day trading. I'm learning a lot about investing, which of course investing and day trading, two totally different things altogether. But I'm learning a lot about investing and seeing some opportunities and ideas and some options and whatnot. So I'm excited about that. Honestly, I'm really enjoying this journey of trading and investing. I'm gonna start putting more money towards longer term investments versus the day trading side of things. But the day trading is what got me started. It's the darling that brought me to the dance. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm excited for many of these investment opportunities that I'm learning about. In the future, as I make more videos and share more content, I'll share more of my investment journey, not necessarily just day trading, but investing, buying the stock, how to buy a stock, making, getting our Roth IRAs, setting up, investing in these ETFs and just making money. Because saving the money, just leaving the money in your bank account, is costing you money to leave it in there. The value of your dollar goes down each year, so you can't just let your money sit. And as I'm learning about this and the power of compounding and dollar cost averaging, I'm seeing how wealth can start to be built. None of this stuff is fast, it's slow and steady. But I'm enjoying the learning process. And so if y'all like to learn more as I learn, just leave comments down, because a lot of this stuff is foreign to me. I'm learning because, when I was a kid, every time my parents talked about the finances and the bills, they always threw us out the room and told us to go somewhere else. We got grown folk business to talk about. So we weren't at the table to learn and understand this stuff. Wasn't taught this stuff. You know what I'm saying? So I'm having to catch up on it later on. And I've always been a fast money kind of guy, and that comes at a cost, of course. And fast money doesn't teach you how to be disciplined, and doesn't teach you how to wait and save for the long term, and which in many cases can yield you much better returns and results and safety and wealth and all of that stuff. So these last 8 weeks, 7 weeks, I think, maybe 8, 9, 7, 8 weeks, been a lot of reflecting, looking back, how I could have done things better, what could I have done differently. And you know, I can see a lot better looking back. So, and maybe I'll talk about some of that stuff in the video. Because we've been here for 5 years, made a lot of friends, got a lot of relationships, and have learned a lot about the culture. And that was the other thing, going somewhere else, starting all over from scratch. Oh man, it was like, as much as I'd rather go to we rather go to these places and visit these places for 3 and 6 months at a time. But to start somewhere to go live and rebuild, it was like, no, let's see, we got a foundation here. Let's work it out. Let's make it work, and we'll deal with it from that point. So we're gonna be here. We got land already. I'll probably end up trying to sell some of that stuff, or I might just hold on to it. I don't know. So we can just focus on just getting a house. We ain't trying to get nothing big and grand. We just need to get a house first. And if I can find a house for 35 grand, I will get a house for 35 grand, and we will live in that little bitty house. And if we have some big ideas beyond that, then we can think about those things there. But for now, the first priority is to get a place. I got a car. One of the ladies, like I said, it goes back to relationships. So one of the ladies that I've been renting cars from, she allowed me to buy one of her cars and pay it off over 12 months to her. So that works out great. You know, the idea of going to a new place and then trying to build these relationships and get a car again, it's like, that's too much work, man. Let's continue to build off of what we got. So that's what we're gonna do, and that's it. There's a whole lot of stuff I wanted to talk about, but I forgot. I guess it don't matter because it gives me opportunity to make more frequent videos coming up.